Um, and I'm really thrilled to be able to do this, partly because I've known Joni for many years as a business leader in our community. We've been to a lot of rubber chicken lunches together, and Joni has just proven to be one of those people that, like the Energizer Bunny, she just keeps going and going and going, and she's just never going to quit. And she does a great job. She now owns the largest communication company in the state of New Mexico. She's the biggest, and she's just keeps doing great work. They hire really good, solid people. She has 30 years of experience in communications and marketing, and knows the importance of creating a memorable and lasting brand for your organization. So she received numerous awards, including Company of the Year, Top Performing CEO, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and the list is as long as your arm, but if I keep reading, she won't have time to talk. And I want to give the floor to Joni this morning. We're thrilled to have her with us to present 10 winning habits for realtors. Listen up, enjoy the ride here. Joni, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Kent. Good morning, everybody. I am really excited to be here. And I'm going to break from tradition, and instead of just gabbing and then doing Q&A at the end, please unmute yourself if you have a question or a comment or a what about, how come, so we can just have this be more engaging, because I really don't want to just listen to myself talk. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm wearing my sexy voice for you. And we're going to talk about the sunny side of marketing. I'm obviously passionate about marketing. I've been doing this professionally my entire career. And I can't fix the interest rates, but hopefully I can help you look at some unique ways to keep your business growing. And let's get started. So, this is there we go. No, 10 winning habits. I'm a Mac girl and this is a PC, so we'll see if I can not screw this up. Okay, how do I do this? Next. Okay. All right. Always market. And I know that the life of a realtor can be very insane. I know that during the pandemic it was particularly insane. And when it's insane is when you need to market the most. So one of the things I see in professional service organizations, whether you're a realtor or you're a mortgage broker or you're an interior designer, is we market, and then we fill that funnel and in comes business, and then it gets insane, right? You're so busy, you're working early in the morning, you're working late at night, you're working weekends, you're like, oh my God, if I have one more listing, one more closing, my head is gonna explode, and you don't market. And then you wake up one Monday morning and you're like, oh my God, my pipeline's dried up. Now I got to start all over again. And that's the wrong way to do it. So my biggest takeaway is no matter how busy you are, do at least one marketing activity a day. And that can be sending a thank you note to a client, taking a referral source out to lunch, meeting with a banker, going to a networking event, sending gifts to people, writing content for your social media, putting out a blog, putting out a newsletter, but make time every single day to do at least one marketing activity a day. When Kent talks about me being the Energizer Bunny, this is the one thing everybody's going to hate. So I get this question a lot, is like, how do I fit my time in to do marketing? Well, I get up every day, and I have now for like 40 years, at 5 a.m. And I do my most productive work usually between 5 a.m. and 5:30 before I start working out. So that's a great time of day. First thing in the morning, your phone's not ringing, your clients aren't calling. That might be the perfect time to just get started doing some marketing. Whoops. Okay, how did I do that? How do I go back? Sorry, you guys. You can tell I'm a Mac girl and not a PC girl. If it's slow, use that time to fine-tune your marketing plan. So hopefully everybody does have a marketing plan, and this does not need to be, something you're taking to the bank to get financing. What I look at with a marketing plan is, what are your objectives for the year? So those should be measurable. So for sure, what's the dollar volume you want to generate this year? Maybe it's you want to have your largest sale ever. Maybe it's you want to branch into multifamily sales. Maybe you want to expand into a new market, another part of the state or another part of the city. So have them be measurable, and then look at what are the strategies and tactics that you're going to employ to reach those goals. And then I chunk it down backwards. So I began in marketing, believe it or not, selling life insurance in the 80s. And I was at Prudential. And it was really interesting because I never sold anything in my life except Girl Scout cookies. But that year, my first year, I finished in the top 10% of the country. And how I did it, I was just very disciplined. So I had my goal. Okay, this is my gross number I want to make. And I knew that in order to get that, I needed to basically have 2 sales a week. I think it's much less in real estate, much bigger number in real estate than it is in life insurance. And then in order to close 2 sales a week, I had to have 10 appointments a week. 5-day work week, that's 2 appointments a day. So all I had to do every day was schedule 2 appointments. That was really manageable and bite-sized for me. And so every day it's like, okay, I scheduled my 2 appointments, woohoo, I won for the day, right? And on to the next day. So fine-tune your marketing plan. Look to see, what's it going to take. I know that the market has flattened a little bit since the peak of the pandemic. I know interest rates have gone up, which make things a little bit more challenging, we'll say, an opportunity. So in that slower time, start to really identify for yourself, what are some new ways and different ways that you can do things. All right. I really am going to get to the next slide, I think. What key relationships can you foster? So Albuquerque, I like to call it small Albuquerque. I'm sure we all know this. We're all 1 degree of separation here in Albuquerque. And real estate, like most businesses, is really based on relationships. People do business with people that they like, people that they know. Yes, occasionally you're going to get out-of-town buyers that are going to come in and they're going to find you on the internet, or they're going to go to your broker because they know the name. But mostly it's going to be relationships. And a first-time home buyer likely is going to talk to their friends. Do you have a good realtor? Who would you recommend? So take time to look at those relationships. And I would bet for most of you, if you look at your repeat sales, it comes from a handful of people. It's probably that old 80-20 rule that 80% of your business comes from 20% of the people. Take time to say thank you. Take time to go to lunch. Take time to have a cup of coffee. Foster relationships when you're not actually out to get something, to just, be there and say thank you. But I think it's really important to look at what are those key relationships, and get involved with organizations where other realtors aren't. I know we're here with a whole group of realtors. Laura and I were talking before about our kids. So maybe you have kids that are playing soccer. Can you get involved with the soccer families? All of those people likely have homes, might be selling homes, might be in the market for homes, might be in the market for investment property. I loved Kent's introduction. I'm like, yes, I need to speed up my wealth attainment. So, that's a whole other avenue to be tackling rather than just the traditional home sales. So who are those key relationships that you can be developing? Take that time when it's a little bit slower, when you're not as insanely busy, to have those relationships and foster them. Connect with people. And I can't stress this enough. I don't know how many millennials we have. I won't embarrass people by making them raise their hands. I know I'm sitting in a room with some millennials, but I work with a lot of millennials, and sorry, I'm going to millennial bash for a minute because I'm a boomer. And I do think the way the boomers were raised was really good. I was raised to write handwritten thank you notes. I don't know if anybody else here was raised to write handwritten thank you notes. That is a dying breed. I mean, it just doesn't happen. My millennials, I had a millennial quit the other day by email. And I was like, you just don't do that. So I was like, it's fine. I accept your resignation, but tip for the future, don't ever resign again by email. Or text is even worse. So, I know it's easy to text and it's easy to email, and it's great to email and text to confirm an appointment. But when it's time to say thank you, say thank you. Say thank you with a handwritten note goes so far. Recently, I bought some furniture at American Home Furniture, and I got a handwritten postcard from the sales rep. When I first got it, I was like, who is it? Because it did not come on an American Home postcard. And it was this guy's name. And I'm like, who is this? And then it dawned on me who he was. And I was like, wow, that is really old school and really cool. I can't think of, and it was not, I bought an inexpensive couch from this guy. I was like, wow, I can't even remember the last time a furniture salesman sent me a handwritten thank you note. But when I'm in the market to buy something in American, I'm going back to that guy just because of that. So take that time to connect. So my home that I bought, my realtor no longer is in business. She's since retired, but she got me the coolest gift that I still have. And I would encourage all realtors as a thank you gift to do something unique that's going to stay in the home. And so at the time I bought my house, my son was 18 months old, and she got me a house-shaped picture frame that had little cutouts, like 6 little cutouts, little kind of bronzy looking. Anyway, it's so cool. I still have it. Put little pictures of my kid and the dogs and grandkids now. I still have it, 30 years later. Really, really cool and different. I would encourage those kinds of gifts, or a blooming plant. So when I bought my office building, my father and my brother sent me a cactus. It was about, I don't know if you guys could see me. It was like about a foot high. Well, that cactus now is like 5 feet high. So it's like a reminder of my growth, right? My cactus keeps growing. So, take time to connect with people in a thoughtful way. Try not to do something perishable. I know like a typical gift is, a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne to congratulate, which is great, but they drink it and it's gone and they don't remember you. So something that you can do that will stay in the home, that is that subconscious reminder of who you are, is great to just be generating those future referrals. Cultivate referrals. Speaking of referrals. So in a service business, which we're all in, 85% of your business is going to come from referrals, repeat business and referrals. So that's really, really where you want to put the time. Now it's funny, I have an advertising agency, and I'm going to say you want to put very little money into advertising. You're going to go like, what? And the reason is, if we look at how many people are in the market today to buy or sell a home, or to buy or sell property, or to buy and sell an investment property, it's a small number of all of Albuquerque, of 1 million people. Maybe it's, I don't know, a few hundred at any given time are in the market. So when you're advertising, you're putting it out to the masses, and only a very small percentage are actually interested at that time. So you're putting a lot of money into energy that is not going to pay off in the immediate return. Now, it's not bad to do that for kind of name recognition and just keep your name out there, but you want to put the lion's share of your effort into staying in touch with your existing clientele and people who can refer you business. And again, I would think about, kind of think outside the box. Just can't just talking about investment property. CPAs could be a good referral source. Lawyers could be a good referral source. Bankers could be a good referral source. Perhaps investment people could be good referral sources. So if we want to just start to think about all the different ways people can look at real estate beyond just owning their primary home, think about those people who could potentially refer, and stay in touch with those referral sources. So I know GAR does an incredible job with their newsletters, and I think it's really, really important for everybody to have their own newsletter, to send things out to people, and talk about different things. You can talk about interest rates, you could talk about investment property, you could talk about new developments that are happening, you could talk about tax laws that might be changing that are impacting things. You could give one of the things I love is there's always the color of the year. You could come out when that comes out in the beginning of the year. Oh, this year the PMS color of the year is, I don't even know what it is this year. I should know. Brick. I'm just going to make it up, right? And this is how you can use brick red as an accent color in your home. If you're thinking about selling a home, I love talking to realtors who really know staging, all those little tips and techniques that you guys know so well to help a house show well so that it sells. Landscaping tips. There's always information from the gas company and P&M on rebates for energy efficiency, zero escape in, etc. So no shortage of things to write about, but to keep out in front of people at least monthly. And even if they don't spend a ton of time with your newsletter, you have landed in their brain for that moment when it shows up in their email. Boop, your name is there. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to capture their brain so that when they're in the market, you are who they think of. I was at a workshop, this was a million years ago at Coca-Cola. It's probably about 30 years ago. And the director of marketing for Coca-Cola National was there leading this workshop for business people. And it was so interesting. He talked about that Coca-Cola's goal at that point was to expand their share of stomach. And I was like, that was really an interesting concept for me, share of stomach. And Coke at that point was just starting to expand. So, back then they had Coke. I think 7-Up is a Coke product, isn't it?
No, Sprite.
Sprite? Okay, so it was Coke and Sprite. And then they were expanding into Dasani, and then I think Powerade is the Coke one. Is it Powerade or Gatorade? Powerade, I think. Anyway, but it was like they were looking at different ways to get more of share of stomach. So how can you get more of share of dollar, right? So you've got primary home. You could have an investment property that they're going to Airbnb. You could have investment property that's going to be long-term rental. You could have investment property that potentially is going to be used for a business. You could have property that's going to be put into a trust to be passed on to future generations. Get more of the share of wallet instead of stomach. I thought that was just a fascinating concept. All right, develop your brand. And I think this is important because there's a lot of realtors. There's thousands of you. And all of you do the same thing. You buy and sell homes and you work with clients. What's different about you? And that's really something that you've got to spend a little bit of time to try to figure out. Is it that you have longevity in the market? Is it that you have the best customer service? Is it that you are the Nob Hill expert? Is it that you have more success in helping people go from point A to point B in the financing process smoothly? Maybe you specialize in first-time home buyers, or you specialize in veterans, or you specialize in helping seniors with reverse mortgages. I'm making all this up, but whatever your particular niche is, you really want to start to develop that so that you can stand out from the pack. I can't give too many tips here because we have a lot of you on the phone, so I can't give everybody like this is what you should do, but do something that where you're willing to be a little bit different. And whatever you develop as your brand, use those colors everywhere. Come up with a catchy tagline that can be yours, and just keep hitting that over and over and over and over. The steady sprinkle. Did I go too far, or did I hit 2 slides? No, I'm perfect. No. The steady sprinkle wins the day, not the thunderstorm. I'm into the word sprinkle right now because my my stepdaughter is pregnant with her second baby, and we're having a sprinkle. I had never heard that term before, instead of a shower. So you have a baby shower for the first baby. Second baby, you have a sprinkle. It's like a baby shower light. But anyway, the steady sprinkle. So this goes back to the first point that I made, is you don't want to wait till the day you wake up and you have no prospects in the pipeline. That's when you have to do the thunderstorm. Oh my God, we have no prospects. You're going to like market. You want to be sprinkling every single day, looking for those little things that you can do no matter how busy it is. Excuse me, sorry about the cold. And just know that all those little actions add up. And I think what you'll see is the most successful people, and I'm sure some of you here can attest to this, is that you do that. Every single day you're doing something. Taking the time to reach out to people, taking the time to say thank you, taking the time to do something. All right, I've been talking way too much. Does anybody have any comments, questions? Like Kent said, yay boomers. For those of us that are on the other side of the millennials. Anybody?
In the chat, I had put a couple of links. I put some links earlier on when Kent was talking about the classes coming up. And then as an NAR member, you can republish and reblog any NAR, Realtor Magazine, House Logic information. And that is just great content, so you don't have to generate your own content, but it's perfect content that you can use to put in newsletters or your emails. House Logic is a great one because all of the articles are very consumer oriented, a lot of DIY and all kinds of just great stuff. So just take a look at those if you're not aware that you are privy to using all of that stuff as a member.
And that's a great idea. And look, I own 3 pieces of real estate personally, but just in Kent's introduction this morning, talking about using real estate to build wealth, I was like, huh, that's something I hadn't really thought of or heard of before. So I think there's a lot out there in your industry to start putting out to people that will start to prompt interest. And that's really what the point is with all of this content that NAR is generating for you that's there, get it out. You never know where that's going to lead to something and who the people are. You know, you sold a house 30 years ago to somebody. They're now my age. They're nearing retirement. I'm on your list. All of a sudden I get an email from you going, have you thought about investment property to diversify your portfolio for retirement? No, I hadn't thought about that. I'm going to give you a call. Now I'm probably going to be on everybody's list, right? Anybody else comments or questions or thoughts on that?
Deborah Baca has a question. Deborah, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, traditionally there's marketing companies that adhere to certain calendars. Do you do the same thing that gives you what you're sending out on a monthly, and then do you have like a daily calendar, like a to-do type thing that you could share?
I use Google Calendar. It's nothing all that, fabulous. For our social media, we use Hootsuite to schedule out the posting for social media. But mostly my company, we have 21 people and we have a group Google Calendar and we just use that. And I'm really disciplined. I don't know why I'm this way. I've been this way my whole life. I just do what my calendar tells me to do. So the last thing I do at the end of the day before I shut it down is I look at my day. Anything that I didn't get done that day, I move to an actual time I'm going to do it later that week. And then first thing I do in the morning when I get up at 5 is I look at my calendar for what has to get done. And then I just do what it tells me to do. Now, of course, things happen, emergencies happen. You guys are going to get a call from the mortgage company. You're missing blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, the closing got bumped a day or 2 days. So it's got to have some flexibility. But I love Google because I love that it's, where's my phone? Anyway, it's on your phone. It's on your desktop. It's on your tablet. And it's all electronic. I mean, back in the day when I started 30 years ago, I used to have the little day timer. Some of us remember those, right? You had to sit there in a race, turn the page. So,
do you want to laugh? This is my calendar.
And then there's old school. So there's not a, one is better. Do what works for you. I'm having lunch today with one of my girlfriends. She's a fundraiser. She's amazing. She still uses the paper date timer. She cracks me up, because we'll be like booking something for September and she's like, and I'm like, oh my God, Lynn, come on, but it works for her. So really whatever works for you. So I don't have like the magic bullet on that, but just whatever form you use it is the big thing. And then also, I'm a morning person, clearly. Laura offered me coffee. I don't drink coffee. I'm this wired naturally, which is very scary. So coffee, I think I'd be too much over the top. But whatever time of day, for me, 5 a.m. is the perfect time to be productive. For others of you, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? Your time of day might be 11 to 1, might be when you're the most productive. Or it might be 7 o'clock at night, or it might be midnight. So whatever that is for you, just carve that out and use that time to do your marketing activities. When you don't have to be face-to-face with people. Write your blogs, write your newsletter, write your social media content. Send out your thank you notes. Please, please, please send out handwritten thank you notes. So back to my fundraising. Some of you may know her, Lynn Troyon. She's raised hundreds of millions of dollars. She's who I'm having lunch with today. She has been doing this. She and I have been friends for 40 years. She reads the newspaper, the Journal and the Biz First, voraciously. And anytime anybody she knows is in there, for whatever, she cuts it out and she does a handwritten note with the copy of that article and says, wow, congrats, you're a rock star, or whatever. I've gotten hundreds from her over the years, and it's like she's just, it's such a nice touch. And you'd think, oh, everybody does that. No, Of everybody I know in Albuquerque, I get one. It's from Lynn every single month whenever my company's in the news. And it's really, really a nice touch. So that's another thing you can do for your clients. You know, when you're seeing that they're having some success, take the time and just write them a handwritten congrats note. Those are the things that really cement relationships. And it takes, you know, less than 5 minutes. So good question, Deborah. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, then I'm going to keep going. I'm really sucking at this laptop, though. Say thank you thoughtfully. So I've kind of already covered that. Find something really, really fun and unique. Another one that once hit. So this was a business consultant got me a crystal paperweight. Wasn't logoed. It was just a beautiful crystal paperweight. And it was a thank you, you know, and a little gift. I still have it on my desk. It doesn't have to be plastered with their logo. I know exactly where it came from. And, you know, I think about that woman every time I look at it on my desk. So come up with something that is uniquely you. Could be, you know, again, something that's going to stay in the home. Could be a really beautiful letter opener that you get at Nambe. Could be Nambe salt and pepper shakers. Could be a gorgeous pot that you get down from the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center with a little something about the artist that made it. Whatever you do, just do something that is, you know, kind of reflective of your taste and your style. But thanks them, because you're making a decent commission, and that home purchase is a big investment for them, and you want them to love you and refer you more business. And when they are ready to buy, sell, expand, you're who they think of. So, you know, don't just do the usual bottle of wine and champagne. I mean, if you want to do a bottle of champagne as a congrats, that's kind of a nice thing to do, but do something else that lasts. I'm always a big fan of things that last and things that are unique, and things that, you know, might have a little bit of cleverness to them too. I think about another one I got once. I mean, there's just so many cool ideas. I think you can just scour the internet for cool ideas. So this was from a hiring company. This is probably about 20 years ago. I got a little promotional item of a little dumbbell in a box, you know, and it's always nice when something comes in a box, because it's like, ooh, what's this, right? A handwritten, you know, thing on the outside. I opened it up and it said, "This is the last dumbbell you'll ever receive from us." I thought that was hysterical. So, you know, so what are those kinds of things that you can do to really have yourself stand apart? Does anybody have any ideas of things that you've done? Somebody just put Etsy as a great opportunity for gifts. Anybody thoughts on what you've done that has really worked?
Marie had a comment. She said, "Cutco with your name on it."
Yeah, and I would say even, you know, you don't even have to put your name on it necessarily, because if they really love it, they're going to remember it's from you. Yeah.
And I do believe I put something in here. This was pre-COVID, but I believe realtors get a discount at Nambe, but you have to ask for it.
Okay.
But that was pre-COVID. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Any other thoughts on gifts? I'm also all about local, so I don't know if anybody has been. So the Albuquerque Museum Shop is totally unbelievably fabulous, which is something that people don't think about. So is the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center gift store is amazing. And then every now and then I tool around Old Town, and it's like, you know, I think Old Town for a lot of us is where we go when we have visitors in town. There's some really great local stores. But yeah, definitely do local. Don't just do like a gift card to Starbucks. I mean, that's okay. But if you're going to do a gift card for coffee, do it from one of our great local coffee shops. The Little Bear coffee shop in Nob Hill, there's a great little gift store right attached to that too. But yeah, local, I'm all about local. But, you know, come up with your signature thank you gift, because that's the other thing. It's like, you know, here I am 20 years later talking about the dumbbell I received, right? You know, if somebody gets a really nice gift that they love, they're probably going to share it with their family and friends and neighbors and go, look what I just got from my realtor. Isn't this amazing? Use AI. So how many of you, I guess I can't do a show of hands because I can't see everybody. We've just started using AI. It's kind of crazy how good it is. So I'm sure everybody's been reading about Chat GPT. It is totally 100% free. I was struggling. I had to write a 1,500 word article for one of my clients, a profile on one of my clients. And I'm sure you guys have this happen to you. I was just brain dead. I was like, I wrote the first draft and it just was like blah, 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 blah. And they did blah, blah, blah. And now they do blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God, this is so boring. I'm bored looking at this thing, And so last night at about 8 o'clock, I went to my Chat GPT and I said, write me 1,200 words on the name of this client. It was unbelievable. So I didn't use it word for word, but it totally helped get the juices going. And I feathered it in. I sent it to the client last night about 9 o'clock. I got it back this morning with 1 comma. That was it for the edit. And I was like, I'm never going to tell them. And I'm not going to tell you who the client was. But I was like, they're never going to know that a robot did this, not me. They think I'm brilliant. But it can really help you. So, we've been talking about writing newsletter content. We've been talking about social media posts, updating websites, blogs. AI can really be an assistance there to help you. It's free. So I would recommend everybody go on the Chat GPT, sign up, and just try it. It's kind of creepy and scary and fabulous all at the same time, but it can help you. So, maybe you want to come up with some nice ways to say thank you that don't just say, thank you. I enjoyed working with you. Call me sometime. It can help you just come up with some interesting things. Has anybody experimented with AI at all for writing? Laura has.
Of course I have.
Anybody else?
I put the link in here. This is the Chat GPT. It is free. You can upgrade it for a cost, and you really have to play around with it because what we have found when we've been working with it, it's really how you prompt it, and you have to give it good prompts. And then if you don't like what it wrote, you can regenerate it. You can also, there's just so many fun things that you can do with it. But take advantage of that. That is a great tool.
Yeah, and you can also say, write this from Steve Jobs' perspective.
Right.
Write it from a third grader's level. Write it from a sophisticated style. You would never just write it and leave it, but it certainly can help, especially when you get stuck on what to say. Maybe you want to send out a prospecting postcard, let's say. You could ask Chat GPT to, okay, I'm going to be prospecting in Nob Hill, Albuquerque. Write me a postcard copy and just see what it comes up with. And then again, you wouldn't just do it and send it to the printer. You'll want to edit it and tweak it and put it in your style. But it's pretty amazing. It can also be pretty funny. I was at an AI workshop. Farmington is one of our clients. We do Farmington's tourism. And there's AI now that creates videos as well. And what's just amazing is you literally put it in there and 10 seconds later, there it is. You look at, for me to create a video is going to take days, right? So I went in and I said, create a 30-second commercial on promoting Farmington, New Mexico for visitors. And it did this. It clearly, the bots clearly went out to our website, and the homepage of the Visit Farmington website talks about the cultural heritage. So it had ruins from Aztec Mexico instead of Farmington, New Mexico. And then it said that we have kayaking. And they had this white water crazy kayaking. And I was like, yeah, okay, didn't quite get Farmington, but it wasn't bad for a place to start. So I would definitely recommend that. Consistency, consistency, consistency. So this again goes back to step 1, which is, take the time to do something every single day. Be consistent. When Kent introduced me, he said, I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I just keep going. So I've had my business for 33 years. I do what I do every single day. I don't waver from it. And I think if you look at the success habits of anybody who's been successful in your industry, that's what it takes. That you're consistent, that you're taking the time to do those actions that are going to keep the business generating, and then it just keeps going and going and going. And of course there's the bursts, and then there's the lulls, and the bursts and the lulls, but I think the more consistent you are, the less of the peaks and valleys that you'll see. I am not good with this computer, Laura, just saying.
Do we need to get some tech help?
No, I can't get it to go to the next one. There we go. Okay, so some of the top marketing trends that we're just seeing overall in the industry. Video, 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 video. Video trumps photos. It's been insane to see since the pandemic. In that 3-month period where we were all homebound, everybody was glued to their devices, and that hasn't shifted since we've come out of the pandemic. So the more videos that you can do in your presentations, the better. Even if you just animate the photos, I know a lot of what I see like on Realtor.com or on Zillow will be the gallery of photos, but even if you turn that into just an animated, the 36 photos, animate it and make it into a video, will grab people's attention. And short form videos, so 90 seconds is the sweet spot for videos. So you don't want to do a 5-minute video, nobody's going to pay attention. You can even do a shorter form video. And what we do with a lot of our clients is we'll test it on social media. So you can do a 15-second video of a property, a 30-second video, a 60-second, and a 90-second. Post them all on social media at different times and see which ones get the most engagement. And it's going to vary. Surprisingly, for some of our clients, it's usually short. Usually for advertising, it's 15 seconds is what works best. Surprisingly, for Bosky School, which is one of our clients, the 60-second videos are what people responded to most. And our thought there was, well, you're asking people to spend $25,000 a year on tuition. They want to spend a little bit more time with it. AI is real. It's not going anywhere. And how can you use it? So when it first kind of became a thing, like about a year ago, I was a little threatened by it because I'm like, oh my God, if people can just use, chat bots to write copy, are they going to not hire me anymore? I mean, am I going to get replaced by a robot? I don't know if any of you feel like that with real estate, like a robot's going to come over and take over the world. I mean, they might one day, but they're really not. They're a tool. You still need the human interaction. But if you can use AI to simplify things for you and have you be more productive, I would totally advise you to look into it. Utilize social media and social media ads. Hopefully everybody is on social media. I think it's just a great way to get outside of your network when you have a listing. Great house, blah, 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 blah. You put it out there. Boosting posts is very inexpensive and will go beyond your network. And it's just another way to get something out there. Consider digital ads. God, I'm so sorry. My voice is going. Digital ads are the ads that show up wherever you are on the internet. So like I go to weather.com is one of the first places I go in the morning, and those ads will show up on the bottom of that app. If you're on CNN in the morning, it'll show up there. If you're on Fox News, it'll show up there. So, if you have a more expensive property and it warrants it, the minimum budget for a digital ad is $1,000. So, if it's a big property and it's worth it, it's a great way to reach outside of your network. When advertising, go where your prospects are, not where other realtors are. So, you see a lot of realtors all advertising in the same real estate publications, and that's fine. But you might think about other places where you can advertise. So if High Desert is, the market you're going after, there's a High Desert publication. Or if you're trying to reach Sandia Labs employees or the Kirtland Air Force Base employees, there's the Kirtland Air Force, there's the Nucleus is the newspaper out there. So just think about different ways to reach people where maybe not everybody else is. If you're wanting to promote wealth building through real estate, maybe you advertise in the CPA newsletter. If lawyers are a good market for you, the Bar Bulletin is incredibly inexpensive. A full page ad in the New Mexico Bar Bulletin, which comes out every week, is $600. And that goes to every lawyer in the state. So just think creatively and not necessarily where everybody else is. Remember that it's always easier to sell an existing client than to cultivate a new one. So that goes back to that 85% of your business is going to be existing clients and referral sources. So stay in touch and stay in touch with compelling information that AI can get for you. So that's, I would love for somebody to just go on the ChatGPT and say, write me a monthly newsletter to promote real estate in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and see what it comes up with.
We could do that.
Just see. Again, I think there's so many interesting topics that you can talk about from energy, for smart energy in your home, to color schemes, to financing, to what's trending, to investment property, etc. And use LinkedIn for thought leadership pieces. So think about LinkedIn. That's business to business. Again, I'm just going to go back to Kent's little startup thing about using real estate to build wealth or to transfer wealth. One of you should write that and get that out there on LinkedIn, and your Chat GPT could help you. Alrighty, I know I can do it. There we go. So be strategic when you're looking at social media. There's going to be more coming. And this is also going to sound funny coming from an advertising person. I don't necessarily think you should be on all of these. I'm just going to talk about each one briefly. LinkedIn is business to business. So if business people are your market, you definitely want to be on LinkedIn. Facebook tends to skew older, so it's really more for the 50-plussers. Instagram skews younger, so that's more your 30s and 40s. Twitter is really more media and politicians, so probably not. You don't need to spend a ton of time there. And TikTok is really young at this point. So, if you're targeting first-time home buyers, and it's all videos. So some of you that are millennials out there, and that's your market, yes, TikTok. For me, I have a TikTok account. I do it. I look at it, so I'm knowledgeable, but I'm never going to be a TikToker. So all of these take time to do it well. And if you're not going to do it well, don't do it. So don't just do it because you think you have to. Either do it or don't. It's my social media spiel. Automated scheduling. So this goes back to Deborah's question on calendars. There are a whole bunch of different ones. There's Hootsuite has them, Meta Business Suite, Calendly, etc. If you're really crazy busy, consider doing that. And that's another nice way to send something out to people. Here, just, here's my calendar, schedule an appointment that works for you. Things that can definitely speed up your time. You want to put your time where it's going to make you the most money, which is face-to-face with prospects and face-to-face with referral sources, and the other things that can be automated and that can use technology to help you, the more productive you'll be. And that is everything, I had. So let me open it up to questions, comments, thoughts, what you've done that's worked. Things that you've tried that have totally bombed.
I think I need to become more of an energizer bunny like you are.
Well, I'll tell you, getting up early and working out every day definitely helps. Okay, I'm just trying to. Oh, the Laura.
What are those social media scheduling programs again?
Let me just go back. Maybe. Whoop! Went too far back. Hootsuite, Meta Business Suite, which is Facebook. Calendly is probably the one I've seen the most, and I think all of these are either free or pretty inexpensive, and they will interface with whatever calendar system you're using, whether that's iCalendar or Google or Outlook. So it'll have your slots that are free, and that's a nice way to send to somebody. I've seen it with a lot of people where they'll have it, schedule a meeting with me. It's right in their email signature, and it just links right to their Calendly, and then people can schedule time. Yeah.
Do you have a preferred digital business card company that you work with?
I do not. So, is anybody out there using one that they like? Anybody?
Well, just for the QR codes, I use Hi Hello, which is like a digital business card, and you just have them scan it on your phone. And another person in my office uses Blink, it's BLINQ,
And I was going to
and I
show.
think it has like a digital card.
So
that
I'm
they-
old school.
It's like physical,
Yeah.
and yeah, and they just tap the phone and it scans it.
Can they see me?
So what was the first one you said before Blink?
Hi, hello.
Hi Hello.
Can you put it in the chat thing? I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback.
Oh yeah, sure.
And then I'm old school. I do a really kind of fun business card. So,
And I love how the font.
yeah. So it's, you know, if you're going to do a business card, make it fun. Every time I hand people my card, they're like, ooh, that's so cool. So, you know, my card in and of itself is a marketing tool. Like, I always think realtors ought to have cards shaped like a house.
Mm-hmm.
But I never see them. Anyway, but yes. Duran's Pharmacy has a great gift shop. Yes, agreed. Yeah. And I like Kim's comment. It's nice to know that she's doing so many of the things that are what she should be doing. Oh, people like to take pictures of your card. Yep. Yep. And feel free, you guys, to unmute yourselves and just give comments or questions or whatabouts. There's the hi, hello up there in the chat. Thank you, Rosemary. All right, going once, going twice. We have 8 minutes. What do we do if nobody asks any more questions? We finish early?
Yep.
Okay.
We're very flexible here.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? Joni, do you have your information? Well, I guess if anybody wants to read more or learn more about Joni and Sunny 505, if you go back to the blog at gar.com, I believe I linked it back to her website.
Or Sunny, it's sunny505.com. Easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, the big thing is I just hope I start seeing a lot of you out and about and, you know, touching in with people. I'm very bullish on real estate. I'm very bullish on Albuquerque. I do know that things have slowed down just a tad, but I really feel like we're just coming into our own here. For so many decades, we've been the state that everybody flies over or drives through, and people are really discovering us. So I think you're in a great, great, great career, and it's only going to continue prospering. So just keep taking those basic steps so that you can keep thriving. And thank you for having me today.
Thank you,
Thank
Joni.
you, Joni, for sharing all your knowledge and your wealth. I know it's taking time away from your business, but we really do appreciate it.
Oh, of
very
course.
much.